lot of work. We're not going to hide that fact, but it's to our sincere pleasure to be able to put this event on for you guys, because all of us at the union office and the branch truly believe that all of you as retirees are the backbone of the NALC. Without all of your hardships in the past, we wouldn't be where we are today. And so we want to, this is an expression of our gratitude to you and to, even in retirement, staying on as NALC members. So I want to thank you all for being here. And there are a few people that I'd like to acknowledge. First and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge your chairman of the Committee of Retirees for Branch 214, Peter Deutsch.
Black table to table.
Okay, so you guys can continue to eat. There's still plenty of food if you want to go up for third, or if you want to take a small plate home, please. You know, we have a lot of food left. Every year in this event, we do the presentation of membership pins. So I want to bring up two of the officers responsible. But before I do that, I know Peter really credit. I can't take all the credit. Actually, I would really like to thank Karen Eshabar, Ron Kaluag, and made the sweet potatoes and the jellos, two of the jellos with love. So that's why they taste so good. So I want to thank them because they were really the ones responsible for putting everything together. And I just showed up and they slapped some things on me. But anyways,
What Lily isn't telling you is that she was homesick with last year.
yeah, they actually sent me home because I didn't have a voice and they wanted me to have a voice for this event. But anyways, I'm going to bring up Ron, our Secretary Treasurer, Ron and Karen for the presentation of the pins.
Also here award for having so much years of service. So I don't know if you want to read it one by one or you just want to read it. Okay. We're calling Thomas Wong here. Thomas.
I'd like to congratulate you on 25 years of membership in the National Association of Letter Carriers. You've been closed for 25 years of helping for you. On behalf of the members of Golden Gate Branch, thank you for the many years of support for the NALC and the labor movement as a whole. Thank you, Thomas.
Hey, Philip, Osborne. Philip.
Bill Bosworth.
Golden Gate Branch, your team would like to congratulate you on 30 years of membership in the National Association of Letter Carriers. We've been closed for 3 years of help. And on behalf of the members of Golden Gate Branch 214, thank you for many years of support and the labor movement as a whole. Thank you.
Anthony Wu. Anthony Wu. All right.
30 years.
Okay, Anthony, we'd like to congratulate you on 30 years of membership in the National Association of Letter Carriers. We've been closed for 30 years of helping for you. On behalf of the members of Golden Gate Branch 214, thank you for your many years of support and the labor movement as a whole. Thank you.
Arturo Luis. Arturo Luis. George Hernandez. George Hernandez. Not here.
Is that turn, Mary?
Yes.
Arturo? Yeah. This is you.
It's for 25 years of membership in the National Association of Letter Carriers. We invite you to vote for
leaders.
On
Many
behalf
birdies.
of the National Association of Retirees, they're glad you're held this morning. And thank you, the member seniors, for many years of support and for being a shop steward and everything. So thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
Robert Messick.
Not here.
George Nolly.
Magazine that we all get. If there's anyone who has, that you know of, that has passed away recently, when I come around the room, please call out their name.
How old?
May we have a moment of silence for our departed letter carriers.
Looks up tense.
Thank you. Before we have the raffle, I'd like to remind you that every even month, on the first Monday of the month, at the Fellowship Church in South San Francisco on Del Monte, where there is free parking, there is a nice lunch provided by the NALC, and we share information about postal issues that either you may have heard about or that you should be aware of. And at this every other monthly meeting, there are members of Lily Beaumont's staff, and many times Lily comes to the meeting and shares information that is important for retired letter carriers. Usually at our meetings, we have anywhere from 15 to 20 attendees. 22. Our scribe, Mr. Capps, has let me know. So the next meeting, which is the 4th of February, I'd like to see a bigger group, maybe not as big as this, but a bigger group nonetheless. And now, Beaumont is going to pick the winner of the raffle. One winner.
Better we would have taken the House of Representatives back, but it was stacked against us in a lot of the states in the middle of the country, where it's very hard to turn over and knock out those Tea Party congressional representatives. You know, they're not even representing the Republicans, so the far right of the Republicans. But we did knock out quite a few of them in Illinois, and here in California, we turned around and knocked out 4 Republican seats and have 4 more Democrats in the state of California, making the most amount of Democrats in any one state now comes from the state of California. We also have, it was actually a miracle to think about it, but we were supposed to us to lose the Senate or retain it in a tie, to whereas whoever won presidency, the vice president would cast the vote and we would have lost the Senate. But due to a lot of missteps by a lot of people running for Senate across the middle of the country, and some of the things that they said that their own constituents didn't believe in, on top of the fact that people wanted to have some changes in different areas, we were not only able to keep the same margin we had, but we increased the United States Senate by 2 United States senators. So that was a fail-safe, and by getting President Barack Obama elected, we were able to keep the White House and, of course, vice presidency if we would have lost the Senate at the top. So we've done quite well. It would have been best if we got the House back, because that's, you need all three to be able to make changes to go forward. But we do have enough out there to fight to keep the changes that they want to push from happening. And the changes that they're trying to push right now through the lame duck session, especially those that are being turned out, those like Congressman Dan Lundgren, who hate us, and now he's not even a congressman anymore, so he has a chance to try to stick a knife in our back on the way out the door. Or Brian Bilbray down in San Diego, we knocked out him too. Or Elton Gagley down in Ventura, we knocked out him. Or even Mary Bono Mack, we knocked out her as well, and her husband, who was running for Senate in Florida at the same time. So they're all working on a vendetta against all of labor, of which they look at as slavery. And then, of course, they're all against what they call, quote-unquote, big government, right? You hear that all the time. They use that in the debates we're talking about. So if the letter carriers and the IRS and the TSA and all of these that serve our country and protect our country are big government, and we do away with these agencies, or we shrink down these agencies, we're taking down not just jobs, but the protection and viability of the United States government. Now, to get out of the last recession, and I wasn't around, and I'm sure most of you weren't around, but you've heard about it, when FDR was president, he did not shrink the government to be able to get us out of the recession. In fact, he grew the government. Government programs, he had them everywhere. We had the CCC, repairing the roads, putting in the forest. We had all different government programs that came into effect that helped build jobs, help the states, help the public, and help the country get out of the recession. Now, even though we're not looking at that kind of change in that direction, we do need to make sure that we maintain what we have in all the agencies, but especially the Postal Service. How many of you guys are veterans? Would you raise your hand, guys and women, ladies and gentlemen, that are veterans? There you go. God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much for your service. 27% of the Postal Service is veterans. 27% is veterans, higher than any agency or private industry in the entire United States. Now we have an action that's dwindling down in the Middle East. Those jobs should be available with veterans preference to the Postal Service. But no, we're going to start hiring more and more TEs, or not hiring PTFs at all, or shrinking down and getting rid of 6-day delivery. For our fellow veterans going to work. For all that they've done for us. You hear both sides of the aisle. Everybody talk about how they care about veterans, except for when it comes to taking care of them when they come back. And that's us. So we got to make sure when you talk to your family, your friends, you talk to anybody, you let them know that we are all tied together. We're all working together. And it's very important that the Postal Service survives. Now, 6-day delivery is important. We need to keep it going. We would lose approximately 1/8 of our workforce. Not 1/8 of the regular workforce, and they'll hire back a little bit of part-time workers, but they would be TEs anyway, if 6-day delivery goes through. What's going on right now, Senator Lieberman, who's also a lame duck on his way out, is trying to work together with Congressman Issa down in San Diego to come up with some sort of compromise to say, you know what, we'll keep 6-day now, but just for parcel delivery. Because unions and the public, and Congress, the community have sold us finally on, we need to have the medicines through the mail, we need to keep the corporations going, eBay, Amazon.com, the new program, pilot program San Francisco's in, all depends on 6-day delivery and 7-day delivery. But the thing is, if you take that away from the part-time workers, we will still lose about 1/8 of our full-time workforce. And also, you can't regrow a company. And think about all the companies that have gone out of business over the years. You cannot regrow once you go into bankruptcy and start selling off your assets. You start selling off your post offices. And this is a bad example. And I've talked to a lot of members of management. They agree. They're upset about it too. They sell off buildings for nothing. Guys, you guys remember EPC was over at Rick Annex. What did they give us? $275 million today. And then they lease us a building across the street, and then they kick us out of that building and disperse us around the state, you know? The VIMs, well, that must have been really expensive, right? $1 each. Wow, that's really hard to maintain. So let's get rid of service and delivery at the same time. We've got to turn things around.
You know who that big guy is in the red? I
That
don't
she's
recognize.
involved with, her husband's involved with, you know, that really made a lot of us mad because they're indirectly involved with somebody's post office and accused us for the last 36 days of legislation to get out there and picket and get involved in this stuff and upset somebody here who may at least stay out of it. If she didn't vote one way or the other, I'm happy with that. Just don't vocalize your, she's very powerful, just don't use your vocalize, and let's take Senator Boxer, she's fine, she'll help us through it. But we don't want to pick up an enemy, you know, any worse than we ever have. We didn't fund her, we didn't give her, we didn't endorse her. Let's let it go at that, because we only have to get till about December 22nd. Let them go on their holiday, and everything has to be rewritten all over again. We do not want to lose the service that you guys worked so hard and fought so hard to maintain. We don't want them to put our health benefits in the fiscal cliff packet and then say, you know what, we're going to be fine, but we're going to start reducing the amount of money we're paying into the federal health benefits program. And then thus hurting our retirees who have to pay more for the health insurance, which is expensive enough as it is.
Too high.
But, believe it or not, those and other agencies and other unions talk with them. Some of them are paying $700, $800 a month for the same insurance that we're paying for. How can they afford it? I don't know. And the National Health Care Program hasn't really taken off to cut those costs down because they fought over getting rid of it the whole time it's been established. So we have to work together on that. So what we're saying is, work together, let people know, talk to your friends, talk to your family, but make sure people know how important the Postal Service is to get on. There'll be other actions, I guarantee you, after December, especially when they look to shut down some of these stations. But we have to also make it through this area. Because there's nothing worse than somebody that doesn't have a job anymore and didn't like you to begin with. And then they got their hands on the pulse and destroy you. And that's what's going on right now in Washington, D.C. You know, they're very quietly meeting behind, they're not just doing this on the floor, they're having little meetings in all the buildings. So right now we need to do what we need to do to protect our future, so that we all have a future, and for those that come after us. You know, we have a great career, we're getting good retirement, we need to protect our health benefits in the future, but we need to make sure those that are working now and those that are coming on in the future have the same thing we got. We're all in it together. So guys, just help us out. I really appreciate those of you that helped on the elections. You know, it was great. The first time we ran a retirees program, we had retirees making phone calls to other retirees. We just kicked that off. Next time will be tenfold because it works so well. And we're going to also spread it around different areas. So you don't have to be in San Mateo. We're looking at also establishing one in San Mateo, possibly in the North Bay in Santa Rosa. In Richmond we have a hall, and we have a hall in San Jose. So that if you're nearby one of those areas, you don't have to worry about, you know, I wanted to do it, but I couldn't make the phone calls. And then we'll look at trying to do it and work at doing it at a couple of the retirees meetings, and the different retirees meetings across the state too. That way, retirees call other fellow retirees to get out and vote. You may not even be calling somebody in California. You may be talking to somebody in Ohio or Florida. But as you saw, every vote counted. And after the night was over and they called Ohio, it didn't matter that Florida was accounted for 4 or 5 days. We didn't even care anymore. It was all resolved. And that's the way it should be. You know, we shouldn't have one state holding us hostage like it did before. So I really appreciate you guys coming out. The NALC extremely appreciates the retirees. Cannot say it enough. I work with a lot of you guys here. You guys are great. We learn from each other. We have a lot of retirees that make up this country. Reuben Bilbo is not here. He's back east. He's in his 90s. Reuben was one of the Tuskegee Airmen, one of the original ones, from Branch 214. Ben Smith's not here tonight. You know, it's sad. We have a good rapport with Vince. A lot of you guys know him. Great guy. His son was starting forward for the Golden State Warriors when they won their only world championship. You know, we reach out into the community. Just think about all the friends and family. So be sure to be there to support us. We'll be there to support you. And again, thank you so much for your service.
Well,
Appreciate it.
John, can I don't think I can the first one I can get to anybody, but you know, I did find that whenever NALC asked me to write letters to my senators, and I noticed that typically the two senators that we have, Boxer writes back next one, a lobby trip, can you mention that to her, that, you know, it'd be good if she addressed it, that our letters, all these things are getting on board our website.
I'm going to see her on Friday next week. I'll just talk to her.
Okay, but that's just
I have a meeting with Senator Boxer next Friday. And I will let her know that, and most likely she'll be very receptive and talk to the staff members. And that's a good point, because one of the staff members from one of the Congress people wrote that they were for 6-day delivery in Southern California, and the branch president called me, and I called that congressperson on the floor, and they got all upset that their staff took liberties to put things in the letter that was not the position that she agreed upon. So that's why we want to talk to her directly, Ray, and that's a good point, talking to her directly, let her know. I'm sorry, were there any other questions? I wanted to make sure you guys got all these great prizes here. All right, guys, thank you guys very much.
The orange raffle ticket, the yellow one's no good anymore. Yellow no good, okay.
Found it? Chester Drive. Chester Drive or Chester Street? Chester Street. Can you tell me how to get there?
513.
513. Last three numbers, 504. 35. 4, 6, 6.
Oh, I'm off by 2.
4, 6, 6. 3, 5, 4, 9, 8. 4, 9, 8.
Now that thing there is probably one of the more expensive.
5, 0, 6. 5, 0, 6. 3, 5, 5, 0, 6. 3, 5, 5, 1, 8. 5, 1, 8. 3, 5, 5, 2, 7. 5, 2, 7. 3, 5, 5, 0, 7. 5, 0, 7. Three, 5, 4, 7, 6. 4, 6. 3, 5, 4, 7, 6. 5, 4, 7, 6. 4, 489. I wanted to raffle off the mailbox, but they said no. Well, here's Lily.
Just a few announcements. This actually concludes our program, but on the tables, there are decorations. Please feel free to take them home with you. And also, we are happy to wrap up a plate for you to go, because there's plenty of food left, so if you'd like that, just go up to Karen and with the plate, we'll wrap it up for you. And also, with regards to the pins and the membership pins, what we do is we track the membership in our database, so if you feel that you were here and you should have received the pins, please let us know so that we can verify your anniversary date in our membership and update that and wording of pins. Okay? So, thank you again for coming. We wish you a safe trip home and happy holidays, and we hope you all come back next year. Thank you very much.